The colony of New Jeju was burning. Captain Ji-won Lee stood on the bridge of her ship, watching the screens with cold horror. She had arrived too late. The attack was already over. Smoke rose from the colony buildings in thick black clouds. Fires burned across the settlement. Bodies floated in space, drifting among the wreckage. 250,000 people had lived here yesterday. Now most of them were dead. Ji-won's crew worked in silence. They recovered the black boxes from destroyed ships. They collected evidence. They documented everything. Nobody spoke. There was nothing to say. This was the 8th attack on humans in 10 years. Each time, the Galactic Council did nothing. Each time, they promised to investigate. Each time, nothing changed. The Rachnoth Empire had done this. They were a species that believed in taking what they wanted. They saw humans as weak. They saw human colonies as easy targets. The Council called them aggressive but took no action. The Council always had excuses, always had reasons why they could not help. Ji-won found the colony's main computer system. It was damaged but still working. She pulled the data records. The last transmission made her hands shake with anger. The colonists had been trying to surrender. They had shut down their weapons. They had broadcast peace signals on all channels. The Rachnoth ships had fired anyway. They killed defenseless people who were begging for mercy. On Earth, Ambassador Minho Park prepared for the emergency council meeting. He was a diplomat. He believed in peace. He believed in the council system. But even his faith was breaking. How many times could he ask for help? How many times could he show evidence and get sympathy but no action? The council chamber was beautiful. Species from across the galaxy sat in elegant seats. The room was designed to inspire peace and cooperation. Right now, Minho thought it looked empty. All this beauty meant nothing when people were dying. He presented the evidence. Videos of the attack, records of the surrender attempts, lists of the dead including 5,000 children. The council members watched. Some looked sad. Some looked uncomfortable. None looked surprised. They had seen this before. The Rachnoth ambassador, Thex Ral, spoke calmly. He said the colony was in disputed territory. He said his people had every right to reclaim their space. He said the deaths were unfortunate but necessary. He smiled while he said it. Minho wanted to hit him. Instead, he stayed professional. The council voted. They condemned the attack. They expressed sympathy for human losses. They promised to form a committee to study the territorial dispute. It would take years. By then, more colonies might be destroyed. More humans might die. The council knew this. They did not care enough to act. Back on Earth, Admiral Daeho Kwon called an emergency meeting. He was a military man. He had spent 40 years in space. He had fought in small wars and kept peace in dangerous places. He knew violence. He also knew that sometimes violence was necessary to stop greater violence. The meeting room held Earth's most powerful leaders. President, military chiefs, intelligence directors, scientists, they all looked tired. They had been having these meetings for years. Every time the Rachnoth attacked, every time the council failed them, Kwon put a map on the screen. Red dots marked human colonies. Black dots marked attacks. 8 black dots in 10 years. 3 in the last year alone. The pattern was clear. The attacks were getting more frequent, more deadly. The Rachnoth were testing Earth's response. They were learning that humans would not fight back. Dr. Hyunwoo Kim spoke next. He was a xenobiologist. He studied alien species. He understood how they thought. Most council species came from prey animals. They evolved running from predators. They learned cooperation to survive. They built their civilization on avoiding conflict. Humans were different. Humans evolved as hunters, as predators. They learned to work together to hunt, to fight to win. Then they learned to turn those skills toward building instead of destroying. But the capacity for organized violence was still there, hidden, controlled. The galaxy had never seen it. Kwon explained his proposal. Earth had been hiding its real military strength. When they joined the council, they agreed to limits. They showed only peaceful ships, simple weapons, defensive systems. They followed all the rules. They wanted to be good members of the galactic community, but they had kept secrets. Weapons from Earth's violent history, ships designed for war, disguised as cargo vessels, tactics from centuries of human conflict, systems that would shock the peaceful council species. They kept these hidden, hoping never to use them. That hope was dying. Director Yoonji Nam presented intelligence reports. Earth's spies had been busy. They discovered something disturbing. Several council species had been discussing the human problem. They worried about human expansion, human population growth, human technological advancement. Some wanted containment protocols. Some wanted worse. The attack on New Jeju might have been a test. See how humans react. See if they fight back. See if they are really as peaceful as they claim. The Rachnoth were the weapon, but others were watching, waiting, judging. The debate lasted hours. Some argued for patience. The council might still help. More time might bring change. Others argued for strength. Show the galaxy that attacking humans has consequences. Make them understand that peace requires both sides to want it. Finally, they voted. It was time to stop pretending. Time to stop being weak. Time to show the galaxy what humans really were. Not because they wanted to. Because they had to. Because the alternative was watching more colonies burn. More children die. More families destroyed. Minho Park was chosen to deliver the message. He did not want this job. He believed in peace. But he also believed in protecting his people. Sometimes those beliefs conflicted. This was one of those times. He stood before the council again. This time he did not ask, did not plead, did not show emotion. He spoke clearly, firmly, with absolute conviction. We have tried peace. We followed your laws. We accepted your limits. We asked for your protection. You gave us words but no action. You gave us sympathy but no help. You created this council to protect the weak. You failed to protect us. We are giving you one final warning, one last chance to act. The next attack on human lives will be answered. Not with complaints, not with diplomatic protests, not with appeals to your conscience, with force, with strength, with everything we have kept hidden. We are asking you one final time to intervene, to stop the Rachnoth, to enforce your own laws, to protect us as you promised. If you will not, we will protect ourselves. We have been patient. We have been civilized. We have been peaceful. Do not mistake our patience for weakness. Do not mistake our civilization for helplessness. Do not mistake our peace for fear. The chamber was silent. Some council members looked shocked. Some looked angry. Thexral looked amused. He did not believe humans would act. He thought this was more empty words. More human weakness dressed up as strength. He was wrong. He would learn that soon. The galaxy would learn it. Humans had tried being civilized. They had tried following the rules. They had tried peace. Now they would try something else. Something the galaxy had never seen. Something they hoped never to do again. They would stop pretending. They would show their true strength. They would remind the galaxy of something it had forgotten. That humans were predators. That humans were warriors. That humans were dangerous. Not because they wanted to be, but because they had to be. Because the galaxy left them no choice. The warning was given. Now they waited to see if anyone would listen. 3 weeks passed. Earth waited. The council did nothing. The Rachnoth prepared their answer. They would show these humans what real power looked like. They would teach them respect through fear. Armstrong Station was a mining outpost. 50,000 people lived there. Miners, engineers, families. They extracted rare minerals from the asteroid belt. It was hard work but good pay. People came from all over Earth to work there. They built a community. Schools for children. Gardens in the biodomes. A small piece of home in the darkness of space. The Rachnoth fleet came without warning. 30 warships, massive vessels bristling with weapons. They did not bother hiding their approach. They wanted the humans to see them coming. Wanted them to feel fear. Wanted them to understand how helpless they were. Captain Jiwon Lee was nearby. Her ship, the Incheon, was on patrol. A small frigate. One ship against 30. Everyone knew what would happen. The crew prepared to die protecting the station. They would buy time for evacuations. Maybe save some lives before the end came. But Jiwon had new orders. Orders that changed everything. Admiral Kwan's message was short, clear, final, no more massacres. Rules of engagement are now unrestricted. Show them what we really are. Jiwon smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who had been holding back for too long. Someone who finally got permission to unleash something dangerous. Her crew felt it too. The fear left them, replaced by something else. Something cold, determined, deadly. The Incheon was not really a frigate. That was a lie, a disguise. For years it had pretended to be a simple patrol ship. Weak engines. Light weapons. Nothing threatening. The Council believed it. The Rachnoth believed it. Everyone believed it. They were wrong. The Inchin was a weapons platform. Hidden systems came online. Stealth fields activated. Weapon bays opened. Drones launched. The small frigate transformed into something the Rachnoth had never seen. A hunter, a killer. A reminder of what humans used to be. The Rachnoth commander laughed when he saw one small ship approaching. 30 against 1. This would be easy, quick. They would destroy this foolish human vessel. Then they would destroy the station. Then they would tell the Council how weak humans really were. The Inchin struck first, not with big guns, not with missiles, with something worse. Swarms of tiny drones, thousands of them, each one fast, smart, deadly. They overwhelmed the Rachnoth defenses. Their targeting systems could not track so many small objects. Their weapons were designed for big ships, not clouds of tiny attackers. The drones attached to Rachnoth hulls, cutting through armor, disabling weapons, destroying engines. The big warships tried to swat them away like insects, but insects were hard to swat when there were thousands of them. Then came the kinetic strikes. Metal rods accelerated to relativistic speeds. Simple, old technology, but effective. They punched through shields like they were not there, through armor, through ships. 3 Rachnoth vessels broke apart. Atmosphere vented into space. Emergency systems failed. People died. G1 felt no pleasure in this. No joy, just cold necessity. These were the people who killed New Jeju, who murdered children, who laughed at human peace. They made their choice. Now they faced the consequences. The cyber attack was almost invisible. Human AI systems invaded Rachnoth computers. They were more advanced than anything the galaxy had seen. More aggressive. More creative. They turned 3 Rachnoth ships against their own fleet. Friend became enemy in seconds. Confusion spread through the Rachnoth formation. 18 minutes. That was how long the battle lasted. 27 Rachnoth warships destroyed or disabled. Crews dead or dying. Systems failing. The mighty fleet reduced to wreckage. The Rachnoth commander sat in his damaged bridge, unable to understand what happened. How could one small ship do this? 3 ships escaped. G1 let them go. On purpose. They needed to run. Needed to spread the word. Needed to tell everyone what they saw here. That attacking humans was no longer safe. No longer easy. No longer something you could do without consequences. Armstrong Station was saved. The miners cheered. The families celebrated. They did not know what this victory cost, what it meant. That humanity had just shown the galaxy its true face, for better or worse. Ambassador Minho Park was summoned before the Council. Emergency session. He knew what was coming. Accusations, outrage, fear. The Council did not like surprises. They especially did not like discovering that one of their members was far more dangerous than they appeared. The footage of the battle played on screens throughout the chamber. Council members watched in horror. This was not civilized warfare. This was efficient, clinical, brutal. The drones tearing through ships. The kinetic strikes punching through defenses. The cyber attacks turning allies into enemies. It was violence perfected over centuries of human conflict. Species after species stood to condemn Earth. They called it an atrocity. Excessive force. War crimes. They demanded sanctions, quarantine. Some even suggested preemptive strikes against Earth before humans could threaten more species. Minho let them speak. Let them vent their fear and anger. Then he stood. His voice was calm, measured, but there was steel in it now. The diplomat was still there, but something harder showed through. You asked us to be civilized. We have been. For decades we followed your rules, accepted your limits, trusted your system. You created laws against aggression. We followed them. You formed this council to protect members. You did nothing when we were attacked. 8 times in 10 years. 8 times you gave us sympathy but no action. We warned you. 3 weeks ago I stood here and told you the next attack would be answered. You did nothing. The Rachnoth attacked anyway, so we protected ourselves. That is what civilization means. Protecting your people when your leaders will not. The chamber erupted. Shouts, arguments, accusations. Minho stood silent until they quieted. Then he delivered the message Earth had prepared. The one they hoped would make the galaxy understand. Dr. Yunwoo Kim's broadcast went out on all frequencies. Every species, every world, every ship. No one could ignore it. The message was simple. A history lesson. The real history of humanity. Not the sanitized version they shared when joining the council. The full truth. Images of human wars. World War I, World War II, nuclear explosions. Bombed cities. Soldiers in trenches. Tanks rolling through streets. Bodies in concentration camps. The horror of what humans did to each other. For thousands of years humans fought, killed, destroyed. They were very good at it. Then came the change. Slowly, painfully, humans learned. They built organizations to prevent war. Created laws. Established peace. It took centuries. Many failures. Many setbacks. But eventually they succeeded. Earth unified. Peace lasted. They thought they were done with violence. Hyunwoo's message ended with a warning. We spent centuries learning to suppress these instincts, to be better than our history. We joined you hoping never to use them again. You are forcing our hand. We do not want to be what we were. But we will be if we must. For our survival. For our children. For our future. The galaxy watched in stunned silence. They had never imagined this. Never knew this history existed. The council species evolved from prey animals. They never developed organized warfare. Never needed it. The concept of total war was alien to them. Now they understood what humans were capable of. The Rachnoth Empire was humiliated, enraged. They had lost 27 ships to one human vessel. Their reputation was destroyed. Other species were laughing at them, mocking their weakness. This could not stand. They would not let it stand. Dexral called for allies. Other aggressive species answered. They formed the Coalition of Supremacy. Their goal was simple. Destroy human colonies. Push humans back to their home system. Show the galaxy that humans were still weak. Still could be beaten. Still could be controlled. 400 warships. The largest fleet assembled in Council history. They would crush humanity. End this threat before it grew. Make an example that would last for generations. They were confident, united, determined. They did not understand what they were facing. The galaxy was about to learn what humans really were, and it would never forget. The coalition came in force. 400 warships divided into 3 attack groups. Each group targeted a different human colony. They expected quick victories. Overwhelming force crushing minimal resistance. They planned victory celebrations before the first shot was fired. They were very, very wrong. New Sol Colony detected the first attack group 80 light minutes out. 80 Rachnoth warships, enough firepower to glass the entire planet. The colony defense force had 20 ships. Everyone assumed this was the end. Evacuation orders went out, parents grabbed children. People rushed to escape pods. Panic spread through the streets. Then Admiral Kwan's fleet arrived. 200 human warships materialized from stealth. They had been waiting, hidden, patient. The Lazarus protocol ships were awake now, old war machines from Earth's violent past. Upgraded with modern technology. Crewed by people who knew what they were doing. The Rachnoth commander saw the human fleet and laughed. Numbers meant victory. Everyone knew that. 200 against 80 should be easy for the 80. Human ships were small, weak, nothing to fear. He ordered his fleet to attack in the traditional Rachnoth formation. Honor demanded it. Tradition required it. The human fleet did not form traditional lines. Did not arrange themselves for honorable combat. Instead, they split into small groups. Wolf packs, Kwan called them. Ancient tactics from Earth's naval wars. Each pack surrounded isolated Rachnoth ships. Cut them off from support. Destroyed them one by one. It was not glorious. Not honorable. It was efficient, clinical, deadly. The Rachnoth could not understand this way of fighting. Their culture valued direct confrontation. Individual glory, fair combat. Humans valued winning. They fought to win. Nothing else mattered. 6 hours of battle. The Rachnoth lost 67 ships. Human losses were 4. 4 ships sacrificed to protect the colony. 4 crews who knew they were buying time for their pack to strike. They died without hesitation, without regret. They died protecting home. The surviving Rachnoth ships retreated. Their commanders sent desperate messages to the other attack groups, warning them, telling them this was not what they expected, that humans were far more dangerous than intelligence suggested, that this campaign was already failing. Nobody listened. They thought he was making excuses for his defeat. Sejong Station faced the second attack group. 60 coalition ships from multiple species. They expected an easy victory. The station had minimal defenses. A few patrol ships, nothing serious. They approached confidently. They were walking into a trap. Captain Jiwan Lee commanded the defense. She had learned from Armstrong Station. Learned what worked, what scared them, what broke their will to fight. She had 20 ships, all equipped like the Incheon, all ready to show the coalition what modern warfare looked like. The human ships appeared and disappeared. Stealth systems made them invisible. They struck from unexpected angles. Hit and run, never staying in one place. Never fighting fair. The coalition ships fired at shadows. Wasted ammunition on empty space. Got more frustrated and confused with each passing minute. Thex Ral himself commanded this attack group. He was proud, honored, certain of victory. Now he sat in his command chair, watching his fleet fall apart. This was not how wars were supposed to work. Enemies were supposed to face each other directly, fight honorably, win or lose with dignity. Humans did not care about honor. They cared about survival, about winning, about going home to their families. Honor did not save lives, did not protect colonies, did not stop massacres. So they fought without it, fought smart, fought dirty, fought to win. After 4 hours, Thex Ral ordered retreat. He had lost 30 ships, gained nothing, accomplished nothing. His reputation was destroyed. His honor was gone. But he was alive. He sent the retreat order to all coalition forces. Pull back, regroup, reconsider. The humans were not what they seemed. Busan Outpost saw the smallest attack group, 40 ships. But these attackers got something extra, something that would haunt their nightmares for years. Dr. Hyunwoo Kim had joined the garrison. He brought psychological warfare, something the galaxy had never experienced. The coalition ships received broadcasts, videos from the other battles, footage of ships being destroyed, crews dying, fleets retreating. Then came the history lessons. Human wars, human violence, human efficiency at killing, all narrated in calm voices, explaining, describing, teaching. Most council species had never experienced real fear. Their evolution as prey animals gave them caution, concern, worry, but not the deep primal terror that comes from facing a true predator. Now they felt it. For the first time in their species' history, they knew real fear. 12 ships surrendered without firing a shot. Their crews could not face this, could not fight against something so terrifyingly efficient, so coldly deadly, so completely willing to kill. They surrendered hoping for mercy, for understanding, for the civilized treatment they expected from council members. They got it. That was the strange part. The humans treated prisoners well, gave them food, medical care, respect. They were not cruel, not vicious, not monsters. Just people defending their homes. People who would rather not fight but would do it perfectly if necessary. Admiral Kwan did not wait for the coalition to recover. He took the offensive. Human intelligence knew where every coalition military base was located, where their fleets gathered, where their command centers operated. Earth's spies had been busy for years. Now that information became weapons. Strike teams launched. Small groups of humans trained in special operations. They infiltrated enemy installations, disabled systems, destroyed supplies, assassinated commanders. They were ghosts, invisible, deadly. The coalition never saw them coming, never knew they were there until it was too late. This was warfare from Earth's darkest history. Tactics perfected in centuries of conflict. Things the council species never imagined, never prepared for, never understood. They had no defense against enemies who would not fight fairly, who struck from shadows, who disappeared after killing. The Galactic Council convened emergency sessions. Moderate species tried to negotiate peace. They saw which way this war was going. Humans were winning, easily. The coalition was falling apart. If this continued, the balance of power would shift dramatically. They needed to stop it before things got worse. Ambassador Minho Park worked with these moderates. He wanted peace too, but not weak peace. Not peace that left humans vulnerable. Real peace. The kind that came from mutual respect, from understanding that attacking humans would always cost more than it gained. That lesson needed to be taught completely. The coalition refused negotiations. They had committed too much, lost too much. Pride would not let them stop. They believed one decisive victory could change everything. could restore their reputation, could put humans back in their place. They planned one final strike, the biggest, the most important. They would attack Earth itself. Director Yoonji Nam intercepted their communications. 300 coalition ships would strike Earth directly, bypass the colonies, go straight for the human homeworld. They believed destroying Earth would end human resistance. The colonies would surrender when their home was gone. That victory was still possible. Admiral Kwan faced a difficult choice. He could intercept the coalition fleet in deep space, fight them away from Earth, protect the colonies while defending the homeworld. It would be hard, costly, many would die, but it could be done. Instead, he chose something different, something that would end this war decisively. He ordered all colonial fleets to pull back, concentrate around Earth, make it look like a retreat, like humans were scared, like they were gathering for a desperate last stand. The coalition would see weakness. They would commit fully to the attack. They would bring every ship they had, and they would find a trap. The biggest trap in human history, because Earth's solar system was not just humanity's home, it was the most heavily defended location in known space. Every rock, every satellite, every piece of debris, all weaponized, all waiting, all ready to show the galaxy why you never attack a human homeworld. The coalition fleet approached Sol system. They saw minimal defenses around Earth's moon. A few orbital platforms, some satellites, nothing concerning. Thexral commanded this final assault. He would redeem his honor, restore his reputation, destroy the human homeworld. History would remember him as the warrior who defeated Earth. He ordered full advance, 300 ships accelerating toward Earth. Victory was close. He could feel it. The coalition would win. Humans would lose. Everything would go back to normal. The galaxy would forget this unpleasantness. Peace would return. He smiled as his fleet entered the solar system. He stopped smiling very quickly. The Battle of Earth lasted 3 hours. It was not really a battle. It was a slaughter. Dr. Hyunwoo Kim activated the Solomon Array, every asteroid in the belt, every satellite around every planet, every moon base, every hidden station. All revealed themselves. All opened fire at once. The coalition fleet found itself in a crossfire from every direction. Kinetic strikes from the asteroid belt, railgun fire from Mars' orbit, missile swarms from Jupiter's moons, energy weapons from Saturn's rings. The solar system itself became a weapon, every piece of it designed to kill. Thexral watched his fleet die. Ship after ship exploded, shields failed, hulls breached. People died by the thousands. He tried to order retreat, but communications were jammed. He tried to maneuver, but weapons came from every angle. There was no escape, no mercy, no hope. Captain Jiwon Lee led the counterattack from Earth's orbital platforms. Her fleet was fresh, rested, ready. The coalition ships were battered, confused, dying. It was not a fair fight, but humans had stopped caring about fair. Fair was for people who followed rules. The coalition broke all the rules when they attacked New Jeju. 283 coalition ships destroyed. 17 escaped, fleeing in all directions, running for their lives, carrying the message back to their homeworlds, that Earth was untouchable, that humans were dangerous, that attacking them was suicide. The lesson was taught. The cost was paid in blood. Admiral Kwan broadcast his message to the Galactic Council. His voice was tired, sad, but firm, absolute. This was not triumph. This was necessity, something that had to be done but brought no joy. We did not want this. We warned you. We begged you to stop them. You called us uncivilized for defending ourselves. You did nothing while they murdered our people, so we protected ourselves. This is what you forced us to become again. Pray you never have to see what else we are capable of. From this moment forward, any attack on human interests will be met with total warfare. We will not hold back. We will not show mercy. We will not stop until the threat is eliminated completely. This is your doing. Your failure. Your responsibility. Remember that when you judge us, the galaxy fell silent. The moderate species were horrified. The aggressive species were terrified. Everyone understood now. Humans were not weak, not helpless, not prey. They were predators who had chosen to be peaceful. That choice could be revoked. The consequences of revoking it were now clear. 2 months passed. The coalition was shattered, most of their fleets destroyed, their leadership in chaos, their economies struggling, but some refused to accept defeat. Extremist factions continued guerrilla attacks. Hit-and-run raids, suicide strikes. They could not win, but they could make humans pay for victory. Admiral Quan faced a personal crisis. The war was won, but the cost troubled him. Human forces were victorious in every engagement, dominant, unstoppable. And that was the problem. Some commanders were getting comfortable with violence, applying maximum force when less would work, forgetting that killing should always be the last option. Captain Ji-Wan Lee reported an incident that made Quan's blood run cold. Her squadron destroyed a Rachnoth supply depot, standard military target, legitimate attack. But afterward, they discovered the depot also housed civilian refugees. 300 families, women, children, elderly, people running from the war, all dead now. Military protocol was followed correctly. The depot was a valid target. Intelligence showed no civilians. Rules of engagement were properly applied. But Ji-Wan could not shake the feeling that they were becoming the monsters they fought. That winning was making them forget why they fought. Ambassador Minho Park worked tirelessly for peace. Many moderate council species were willing to accept human military superiority, to establish new rules, new protections, real enforcement. But others wanted permanent quarantine, argued that humans were too dangerous to coexist with. That isolation was the only safe option. Dr. Hyun-Woo Kim made a disturbing discovery. He analyzed coalition communications and propaganda. Many of their leaders genuinely believed they were acting defensively. They saw human secrecy as proof of aggressive intent, hidden weapons as evidence of planned conquest, rapid colonial expansion as territorial invasion. The war started partly because of misunderstanding, fear on both sides, assumptions, lack of communication. Yes, the Rachnoth attacked first, but they attacked because they feared what humans might become. It was a tragic cycle. Fear creating violence, creating more fear, creating more violence. Director Yoon Ji-nam brought worse news. Coalition remnants were developing desperate weapons. Biological warfare, kamikaze tactics, planet killer technologies. They saw extinction as preferable to subjugation, would rather die fighting than live under human dominance. Even if that dominance was imagined rather than real, Earth's government faced a choice. They could end this completely. One coordinated strike against every coalition military installation. Every command center, every fleet base. Human intelligence knew where everything was. One attack would eliminate the threat permanently. Total victory. Final solution. Complete genocide of the coalition leadership and military. Admiral Quan argued against it. This was the test. The moment that would define humanity's future. They had shown the galaxy they could kill efficiently. Now they needed to show they could choose not to. That they could be merciful. That they were truly civilized, not just pretending. Dr. Hyun-Woo Kim supported Quan. If humans exterminated the coalition, the galaxy would never trust them again. Every species would see only the violence, the killing, the ruthless efficiency. They would miss the restraint, the choice to stop, the effort to build something better than revenge. Quan proposed something unprecedented, something that might be suicide. He would meet with Thex Raoul, face to face, alone, on neutral ground. Talk to the enemy, try to understand, try to explain, try to end this war with words instead of weapons. Earth's leadership thought he was crazy. The Council thought it was a trap. Thex Raoul's own people thought it was a trick, but Quan insisted. This war had to end with understanding, or it would never truly end. There would always be another coalition, another attack, another cycle of violence. They met on an abandoned station. No weapons, no guards, no backup. Just two military commanders who had spent months trying to kill each other. Thex Raoul expected treachery, expected assassination, expected anything except what Quan actually did. Quan showed him Earth's real history. Not propaganda, not tactical information. The truth, the wars, the genocides, the nuclear weapons, the biological warfare, the horrors humans inflicted on each other for thousands of years. Every terrible thing, every shameful moment, all of it. Then he showed the peace movements, the reconciliation, the slow, painful process of becoming better, the centuries of work to build a civilization based on cooperation instead of domination, the effort to suppress violent instincts without eliminating them completely, the constant struggle to be better than their nature. Quan made a confession that shocked Thex Raoul. We are terrified, not of you, of ourselves. Every battle we win makes violence easier to justify. Every weapon we use makes killing more comfortable. You attacked us, yes, but we have become what we swore never to be again. We are slipping back into old patterns. This has to stop. Before we cannot stop it, Thexral struggled to understand. In Rachnoth culture, strength was everything. Weakness meant death. The concept of deliberately restraining power made no sense. Why would anyone choose to be weaker than necessary? Why would victors show mercy? Why would predators hesitate? But he saw something in Quan's eyes. Genuine fear. Not of the Rachnoth. Not of the coalition. Not of any external enemy. Fear of what humans might become if they continued down this path. Fear that victory would cost them their civilization. Fear that winning the war meant losing themselves. For the first time, Thexral understood. Humans were dangerous not because they were naturally violent. Many species were violent. Humans were dangerous because they knew they were violent, understood it, studied it, perfected it over millennia, and then chose to stop. That choice required constant effort, constant vigilance, constant sacrifice. The meeting lasted 6 hours. They talked, really talked, about fear, about misunderstanding, about assumptions, about how this war started from mistakes on both sides, about how pride prevented either side from backing down, about how many died for nothing. They agreed to a ceasefire, fragile, uncertain. Many on both sides would oppose it, but it was a start, a chance to stop the killing, to try something other than endless violence, to prove that civilization meant choosing peace even when you could win the war. Thexral returned to his people, convinced the extremists to stand down. It was not easy. Many called him coward, traitor, dishonored, but he persisted. He had seen something in that meeting, something that changed his understanding. Humans were not the enemy. Fear was. Misunderstanding was. Pride was. Quan returned to Earth, reported to the government, explained the agreement, faced the criticism. Many wanted total victory, complete surrender, absolute dominance. They did not understand why he showed mercy, why he talked instead of finishing what they started, why he chose peace when war was winning. But others understood, saw the danger of becoming too comfortable with violence, recognized that true strength meant knowing when to stop fighting, appreciated that civilization. 6 months after the ceasefire, the Galactic Council convened for the most important session in its history. Every species sent representatives. Every world watched. The old order was broken. Something new had to be built. The question was what? Ambassador Minho Park stood before the council. He looked older now. Tired. The war had aged him, but his voice was steady, strong. He presented humanity's proposal for a new framework, one that acknowledged reality while protecting everyone. The proposal was simple. Mandatory intervention when council members were attacked, independent arbitration for territorial disputes, actual enforcement of council laws, and most controversial, a shared defense force. Human military advisors would train other species, not to spread violence, to ensure no species was ever helpless again. The debate was fierce. Some species welcomed human protection, others feared human domination. The question was whether you could trust predators to protect prey, whether humans would use their power responsibly, whether this new order would be better than the old one. Captain Jiwan Lee was appointed to lead the Council Defense Academy. Her first class included officers from former coalition species, Rachnoth, others who had tried to destroy humanity. Now learning from humans how to fight, it was strange, uncomfortable, but necessary. The training was not what they expected. Yes, they learned tactics, weapons, strategy, but the focus was different. They learned when not to use force, how to de-escalate, how to recognize when violence would make things worse, the true costs of war, the burden of killing. Jiwan was hard on them, demanding, sometimes cruel, but always fair. She made them understand that military power was not about killing efficiently, it was about protecting effectively. That sometimes the hardest thing was choosing not to fight, that true strength meant restraint. One day a Rachnoth student challenged her, asked why humans taught mercy when they showed none at Armstrong Station. At New Sol, at Earth, why preach restraint after demonstrating such efficient violence? Was it not hypocrisy? Jiwan's answer was simple. We showed you what we can do. Now we are showing you what we choose to do. We can kill. We proved that. Now we are choosing to teach instead, to build instead, to protect instead. That choice is harder than killing. That makes it more important. Dr. Hyunwoo Kim published his analysis. The Predator's Burden, he called it. It became required reading across the galaxy. He explored how humanity's evolutionary history shaped both their capacity for violence and their ability to cooperate, their past as hunters, their development of complex societies, their struggle to become civilized. His thesis challenged everyone's assumptions. Humans were not unique in being capable of violence. Many species could kill. Humans were unique in choosing to restrain that capability, in building systems to control it, in constantly fighting against their own nature to be better than their instincts. The book changed how the galaxy viewed humanity. Before, they saw only the violence, the efficiency, the cold brutality. Now they saw the effort behind the restraint, the centuries of work, the constant struggle, the deliberate choice to be peaceful despite being capable of overwhelming violence. Admiral Kwan oversaw the partial demobilization of Earth's military. Many weapons revealed during the war were being dismantled. Not all. Earth learned that appearing weak invited aggression, but enough to show good faith, to demonstrate that humans wanted peace more than dominance. The Lazarus Protocol fleet returned to standby. The old warships went back to sleep, ready if needed, hidden if not. A reminder that existed but did not threaten. The message was clear. We can fight. We will fight if we must, but we prefer not to. Choose wisely. Director Yoonji Nam worked with Coalition Intelligence Services, establishing joint networks, sharing information, building transparency. It was uncomfortable for everyone. Former enemies trusting each other with secrets, but necessary. No more hidden fleets, no more surprise capabilities, no more fear of the unknown. Thexral addressed the council. An unprecedented moment. The Rachnoth commander who started the war now advocating for peace. He spoke of his species' perspective, how they saw human secrecy as threat, rapid expansion as invasion, hidden weapons as proof of bad intent, how fear drove them to attack. He admitted mistakes, acknowledged crimes, accepted responsibility. The attack on New Jeju was wrong. Not strategic, not defensive, just wrong. Murder disguised as military action. He offered formal reparations, peace treaty, recognition of human territory, mutual defense agreement. Many Rachnoth opposed him, called him traitor, coward, dishonored. Some attempted assassination, failed. His supporters protected him. A new generation of Rachnoth who understood that the old ways led only to death, that true honor meant admitting mistakes, learning, changing, growing. The treaty was signed. Compensation for New Jeju, mutual border recognition, joint memorial for all who died. Survivors from both sides attended. It was painful, awkward, imperfect. People who lost family standing next to those who killed them. Forgiveness came slowly, sometimes not at all, but it was genuine effort. Not everyone accepted the peace. Extremists on both sides condemned it as betrayal. Some human colonies refused coalition refugees. Some coalition worlds burned Earth's flag. Violence continued in scattered incidents. But the leadership remained committed. Peace required effort, required sacrifice, required choosing the hard path. 1 year after the war began, Ambassador Minho Park gave his final speech to the council. He was retiring, tired, ready to go home. But first, he had things to say. Things the galaxy needed to hear. We told you to stop attacking or we would stop pretending to be civilized. We showed you what we are capable of. We demonstrated our capacity for violence, for efficient killing, for overwhelming force. We proved we were predators, dangerous, deadly. You learned to fear us. That was necessary. But here is what we learned. True civilization is not about whether you can destroy your enemies. It is about choosing not to, even when you can. It is about building something better than survival. It is about cooperation despite differences, peace despite fear, trust despite history. We are not there yet. Maybe we never will be. Civilization is not a destination. It is a constant effort, a daily choice, a struggle against our own nature. We slip. We fall. We make mistakes. But we keep trying. And we are asking you to try with us. To build something better than what came before. To create a galaxy where strength protects rather than threatens. Where differences enrich rather than divide. Where peace is real, not just the absence of war. The Council voted to accept the new framework. Not unanimously, not enthusiastically. But enough. Enough to make it real. Enough to give it a chance. The old order was gone. The new one was uncertain, but it was honest. Based on reality, on understanding, on mutual respect born from understanding each other's true nature. 10 years later, the galaxy had changed. Human military advisors trained forces across Council space. Joint defense operations protected smaller species. Territorial disputes went to arbitration. Aggressive species faced real consequences. The predators learned that prey could fight back. The prey learned that predators could protect. Captain Jiwan Lee, now an instructor, watched her students graduate. Mixed species teams. Humans working with Rachnoth. Former enemies, now allies. Not friends yet. Maybe never friends. But partners, colleagues, people who understood each other, who trusted each other to do the job. A colony called New Hope grew on the edge of human space. Humans, Rachnoth and other species living together, building together. Not perfectly. Conflicts happened, misunderstandings, cultural clashes, but they worked through it. Children of different species played together, learned together, grew up knowing cooperation was normal. The galaxy had not forgotten human violence. The battles were remembered, studied, analyzed. Every military academy taught the campaigns. New Sol, Armstrong Station, the Battle of Earth, examples of what humans could do, what they were capable of, the efficiency, the brutality, the overwhelming force, but they also taught what came after, the choice to show mercy, to build peace, to teach rather than dominate, to restrain power, to choose civilization over conquest. Fear transformed into wary respect. Respect built slowly into something like trust. Not complete, not absolute, but real. Earth's moon held a monument, black stone listing every name, human and alien. Everyone who died in the war. Millions of names. Millions of lives ended. The inscription was simple. They died because we forgot the cost of violence. We remember so their deaths will not be repeated. Below that, another line, added later. After much debate, after consideration, after understanding what the war really meant, we were civilized. We stopped pretending. Then we chose to be civilized again. That is what makes us human. Admiral Kwan visited the monument often. He was old now, retired, living quietly. But he came here, looked at the names, remembered the faces, thought about the choices made. The people lost, the civilization preserved. Was it worth it? He did not know. Maybe there was no answer. Maybe the question was the point. The galaxy learned its lesson. Attacking humans carried consequences, real ones, final ones, but they also learned humans could be trusted, could be allies, could be partners in building something better. The predators learned to protect, the prey learned to trust, slowly, carefully, but genuinely. It was not perfect peace. Conflicts,